Yo, what's up guys? So today we are gonna see, what if Naruto got harem in Teen Titan World, Part 2. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, go check out the author of this fanfic, RockyVRWolf, link is in the description, and also subscribe to my channel, and like this video. Let's begin the video. Dude, wake up. You're going to be late. I woke up abruptly and saw Beast Boy hovering over me. Back. I fell off my bed and landed on my ass with a thud. Hurry up dude. You still have to shower and get ready. Beast Boy, it's 6:45. I'll get up at 7. It takes half an hour to get to the competition. Beast Boy wailed. Come on. Up you get. Geez, are you my mother? No, but you have to get up. Please. I sighed. Fine. I stood up, grabbed fresh clothes, went into the bathroom, turned on the shower head, stripped, and got in. I took a 15-minute shower and got dressed. I fixed my hair so it was spiked and went into the kitchen. I ate my breakfast with Beast Boy, my friends, and the rest of the Titans. Let's hope we get our powers back, Shilly said. I want to control Chino again. I always had fun making him fly around my room and landing on his soft bed. Beast Boy, who was sitting next to me, asked, is she always like this? Not really, I answered back. Most of the time, yeah. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I stood up, put my cereal bowl in the sink, and went back to my room for my gear. Beast Boy followed. Hand me my helmet, I said. Beast Boy threw it to me and I caught it. It's a cool helmet, Beast Boy announced. It's not that special, I said. My grandpa, who used to be in the war, gave it to me. He found it at a skate shop, and he knew I liked bald eagles, so he bought it for my birthday 2 years ago. Still fits too. I grabbed my elbow and knee guards, put my studded bracelets on, and placed my gold necklace around my neck. Ready? Cyber gasped. Yep. We just have to go to M&M's skate shop. The rapper? Beast Boy asked. The candy. I walked out of my room, went downstairs, said goodbye to my mom, and we all got into the T-van. Robin would take his motorcycle with Starfire since she couldn't fly. We arrived at M's shop 10 minutes later. We all got out of the van and went to the door, which was locked. I banged on the glass. Doesn't look like he's open, Raven said. Yo M. Open up dude. Beast Boy pushed me out of the way. Let me handle this dude. He took a pin out of his pocket and put it in the lock. Beanie, money, mo. The door made a clicking sound. BB pushed it open and walked in. I followed after him. I went to the counter and rang the bell. M, where are you? He didn't answer. What's his real name? Beast Boy asked. Clarence. Hey Clarence my man dude. Would you get your butt out here? I glared at the green changeling. He hates his real name. The bathroom door unlocked and M's voice could be heard. Man, can't a dude take a shit? And he stopped as he saw me with the Titans. You're the Titans. He looked at me. I thought you were joking. They're real. Yeah, now listen up, M, I said. Did you get my board done? Nope. What? It's not finished yet. What do you mean it's not finished? I asked, annoyed. I have to be at a tournament in 20 minutes. Chill out dog. You still have to sign it. I almost did it and I'm full, and my eye twitched like Courtney's did when someone irritated her. What the fuck's the matter with you M? I asked angrily. I don't care about that. I need that board. Alright. I'll get it for you. He went to the back and came out with my finished board. He took out a whiteout pen. I grabbed it from him and headed to the door. Thanks M. I'll sign it over there. Wait up man. I'm going with you. I want to see my boy kick some butt. I looked at the Titans. Okay, M, what I'm about to tell you is very important. The Titans aren't the only ones with powers. My friends and I do as well. M's mouth fell open. You have powers. Yeah, but a Mexican punk named Steven stole them. And we need to get them back. And the only way for that to happen is to beat Steven. I'm still going then, M said excitedly. I have got to see these powers in action. We went out and got back into the T-van after M locked the door and put a sign up, saying he was closed all day. We drove over to where the competition was taking place. We all got out of the T-van and went up to the sign-up desk. Name? RockyVRWolf. The person shuffled through a few papers and pulled one out. You do know that this is a skateboarding competition with villains, right? Yeah, your point. I asked irritably. The person looked at me skeptically. Okay Mr. Wolf. Your friends go down that way and you'll go this way. Now, who's your captain? I am, Robin said. Name? Robin, of the Teen Titans. The person signed something and gave it to me. Good luck. I took it and gave it to Robin. Thank you. See you guys in a little bit. Robin and I made our way towards the other competitors. Nervous? Ha! Are you kidding me? I live for this stuff. I want my powers back and I want my friends to have their powers back also. Heh, if you live that long. I stopped and turned around. Steven had on his gear and was standing in front of Slade. He also had his own design-made board with Slade's symbol on the top. It was half black, half orange on the bottom. It also had a small devil on the bottom near the nose. "Oh, I plan on living that long," I said with a smirk. "I think I'm more experienced than you." "I've been skateboarding since I was 4, Steven said. "I've been in professional competitions since I was 10. You?" "Started at age 5 and have practiced and won 3 professionals since I was 8. I was even close enough to beating Tony Hawk." Steven smirked. "Not bad. But since I have your powers, there's no way you can win. We'll just have to wait and see now, won't we?" We glared at each other for a few seconds. "Come Steven," Slade said. They walked off, leaving Robin and me to ourselves. We turned around and headed towards the stands. There were young and older villains there, as well as a few superheroes. We found our friends near the front, looking around at the setup for the competition. The half-pipe was huge as well as the obstacle course. We walked over to our friends. I handed them my board and helmet. I put my knee and elbow guards on. I grabbed the edge of the stand and pulled myself up. Robin followed. "Good thing the weather's nice, hot," Beast Boy said. "Shouldn't have any problems. And we will give you all the support that you need, friend," Starfire said excitedly. "Thanks guys," I said. I took my board, turned around, and propped my foot on the railing. M&M. Whiteout pen and skateboard. He handed it to me. The guys stood around me. I took the lid off the pen, put my skateboard on my knee, and signed my name under the dragon's stomach. RockyVRWolf. All the titans and my friends cheered, lightening the mood. "Yeah. Alright dude. You're going to skull these losers, dog." M&M cheered. "Oh Rocky. 3 cheers for the good guys," Shirley shouted. "No matter what happens guys," I said. I placed my gloved hand out. "Whether I win or lose, I'll always remember you guys. For our powers." "For our powers," Courtney said, placing hers on top of mine. Then Lee, Alan, Ariel, Shirley, Robin, Cyborg, Raven, Starfire, Beast Boy, and M&M placed theirs on top. "For the heroes." We all shouted, raising our hands off into the air. "Next up, RockyVRWolf on the half-pipe. Good luck." I grabbed my board and headed to the half-pipe, walking past Steven and Slade. "Yeah, you need all the luck you can get," Steven shouted. I got to the top of the half-pipe, placed my board on the ground, and put my foot on top. I placed my helmet on my head, the eagle's beak gleaming off the light from the sun. I didn't click it on, but let the straps hang loose around my head. I got into my comfortable position that would start me off. Honk. I jumped down and went to the other side. I did a double kickflip and a grind. I went down the side backwards and went back to the other end. I did a front flip and did the same thing going back. I did another grind and turned so that I was facing forward again. I did a 360 on the other end and made another grind on the tail of my board. I slowed to a stop, jumped up, and did a 480, touching back down with ease. I made it to the other side by the horn. I landed on the top, kicked the tail of my board, and grabbed it in my hand. I looked over at the scoreboard. A 90. Close, but not good enough yet. Next up, Steven Asensio on the half-pipe. I got down from the half-pipe and walked past Steven. He bumped into me, making me get closer to the railing, close to Slade. "You can't win the apprentice," he said. "If you forfeit now, I'll let you have your fire powers if it makes you feel better." I looked at Steven for a few seconds as he went and slowly turned around to face Slade. "I want my friend's powers and all of mine back, not just my fire powers," I said angrily. "I will kick your protege's ass and then take you down myself. Don't try bribing me cause it won't work." People cheered Steven on as he did something ultra cool. "See you around, Slady." I hit the railing and walked back to my friends. A 94. It was break time, so my friends and I walked around. I saw Johnny Rancid in the stands and decided to pester him. "Yo Johnny. What's happening my brother?" Well. If it isn't Wolf Boy. Heard your powers were taken." "Yeah, well I'm going to get him back," I said. "Why aren't you out there?" "Skateboarding's not my thing punk," Johnny said. "Motorcycles all the way for me." He saw Robin. "How's it going bird boy?" "Good actually," Robin said. "You?" "Just laying back and enjoying the show," he said. "And just so you know, I got myself a part-time job. Minimum wage and it's what I do best." "Getting your butt kicked by superheroes?" Beast Boy asked. Johnny glared at BB before continuing. "Fixing bikes you stupid green elf. 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Got cash and everything. Even got myself a real dog." "Great to see you found your second calling Johnny," I said. "Maybe I'll find time to whip your ass like last time." "I'd like to see you try Wolf Boy," Johnny said. "Without your little powers, you can't win. I bet you'll never lose this competition. So many of the competitors have either quit, were injured, or were taken out for low scores. Almost every team has lost. You've got Mumbos, Mad Mods, Hives, Slades, and your team. But soon it'll just be Slades, Hives, and your team left on the playing field." "Okay Johnny," I said. "I'll make you a deal. If Slade wins, you can kick my butt and mock me. Hell, you can even put me in the frickin' hospital if you want. But if I win, you give me $200 a new helmet and I get to kick your butt and send you to jail. Take it or leave it Johnny, your choice." I smirked at him, waiting for his answer. "You got yourself a deal Wolf Boy." We shook on it. See you around, Johnny. I walked away, Courtney, Robin, and Lee right behind me, while the others went to get some drinks for themselves. I can't believe you bet Johnny something as stupid as beating each other's butts, Courtney said. Why would you want to be in a hospital anyways? That's in case I somehow manage to lose, which I won't. I would rather be in a hospital than be Slade's apprentice, I answered. But I know that I can win. I remember. Let's just hope you can survive against our powers when Steven decides to use them against you, Lee said. I know a few new tricks that you don't know about yet, guys, I said confidently. I will win. I promise. Courtney and Lee went back to the stands while Robin and I went towards the obstacle course. Steven and I glared at each other as I passed him. Johnny was right, Mumbo had one skater, Matt Mott had two, Slade had Steven, the Hive had Gizmo and Mammoth, and I was all that was left. Mammoth was first and he got injured halfway in and forfeited. Next it was Billy Numerous from Mumbo's team. He also got injured. Then Kid Wicket from Mad Mott and some other guy went afterwards. Every single one of them got injured halfway through, except Kid Wicket, who got a 93. Seems a little odd, doesn't it? Robin asked. Everyone except Kid Wicket getting out at the same time. I looked over at Slade and Steven. Steven seemed to be smirking about something. I'll bet you anything it was Slade, I said. But don't worry about it. In the end, I'll win. It was Gizmo's turn next. Good luck, little buddy, Mammoth shouted. Gizmo went towards the startup line. Yo Giz. I looked over at Steven. What is Mexican punk? Gizmo asked. I just wanted to say good luck out there, little dude, Steven said, putting his fist out in an upward position. Gizmo stared at it before bopping fists. You too, dude. Steven gave him a smile. I looked at him closely. Are you really that evil, Steven? Because you don't act on it. I leaned over the guard and Gizmo walked by. Hey Gizmo. What do you want, Clutchhead? He asked angrily. I pulled a 10 out of my back pocket. I showed it to him. If you manage to stay in this whole thing, I'll give you this 10. But if you lose, I'll still give it to you. What do you say? He took it and examined it. Deal, wolf brat. He handed it back and got to the starting line. That was nice of you, Robin said. I stayed leaning over the guard, my arms crossed and my armpits on the guard, and stayed smiling. Out of all the villains out there, Gizmo would be the coolest, I said. Too bad he can't put those 10-year-old genius skills to good use. The horn sounded and Gizmo took off. Hey yo Billy. Pass the corn dog. Coming up, Billy number 2. Great. Billy just had to sit behind me on the stands. Yo Billy number 4, pass me a soda. Alright Billy number 3. Hey look Billy. Billy number whatever shouted as I walked towards the stands. It's RockyVRWolf. What's up? I jumped up onto the railing. Nothing really, but if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm gonna kick your ass. Okay Billy. Sweat formed on his forehead. Sorry about that, RockyVRWolf. Okay Billy's. Time to come back. All but one returned inside Billy Numerous. Thanks Billy. I jumped down and returned to my spot. Gizmo made it with a 90. Gizmo may not be out yet, but let's see what Steven Asensio can do. Gizmo came towards me after Steven congratulated him. I took out my 10, plus a free Dutch Bros coffee card. That work Gizmo, I said. I gave him 10 and a free coffee card. You can buy any coffee or whatever at a Dutch Bros coffee house. But you can only find one in Oregon. Maybe I'll treat you later. Gizmo gave me a big smile. This doesn't change anything though, he said. I'm still gonna be a villain. And you'll always be the coolest one, man. He left and told Mammoth. I smiled. And Steven makes it with a 97. That smile fell. Gizmo is out, I said. It's just Kid Wicket, Steven, and me now. I have to make a 95 or higher to face off against Steven in the race. And it's your turn, Robin added. Good luck. RockyVRWolf. You're up. I breathed in and back out again. I'll need all the luck and skill I can get. I got to the starting point and the horn sounded. I went down the small ramp and towards the double ramp with the high wall. I did a kickflip halfway there. I got to the top of the ramp and did a handstand on the edge, holding on to the side of my board. I went back down and went to the high wall. I grabbed the edge and flipped over the end, landing on the other side. I did a grind on the metal rail and dropped to the ground. I put more momentum into my stride and aimed for the stairs. I kickflipped into the air and finished with a grind on the stairs with the nose of my board. Time to show them my new trick. I went towards another rail and did a grind and finished with a kickflip. I went towards the quarter pipe. I gained speed. I went up into the air, did a 360, then what I like to call the free fall, which was lazily going backwards twice, and landed upright on the edge, and finished the quarter pipe with a grind from the middle on the bottom of my board. I gained more momentum, did a grind on the rail and finished off by jumping up onto the high wall and coming back down again. I went back to the starting point right as the horn sounded. Let's see what the judges have to say about this. I look up at the scoreboard. A 98. Everyone cheered for that. Haha. I knew you were my boy dog. M&M shouted. Woohoo. Go Rocky. It's your birthday. Shirley shouted. I was breathing heavily, but managed to smile. I returned to the others to know my status. Dog, you and Steven are tied right now. M said happily. Gizmo and Kid Wicked are out. And all you have left is the race. At least you'll get a 3-hour break until the end, Alan said. So what do you want to do? Why don't you quit while you're ahead? I turned around and Steven was behind me, looking teed off. Like I would, I said. I will beat you in that race, and then my friends, the Titans, and I will get our powers back and go on with our lives. Faces Steven, you have already lost. We'll just see about that now, won't we? Steven said. He turned around and started walking off. And just so you know, it doesn't say anywhere in the rule book that all competitors can't use their powers. You better watch yourself. Once you lose, you'll be Slade's apprentice again. He walked away and I glared after him. I'd like to see you try, I said. I'll beat you and then kick your ass for stealing my powers. Steven Asensio and RockyVRWolf are our 2 finalists. The race will determine the winner of our skateboard competition. Good luck to both of you. Everyone was gathered near the starting line. I was in the right lane and Steven was in the left. The clouds and sky were already turning a light pink and orange color. The sun would be up for another 3 hours before it grew dark and for the stars to come out. You know you're going to lose, so why not forfeit now? Because I'm not gonna lose, I said. You just wait and see. I will kick your ass in this race, and then my friends and I will get our powers back and take both you and Slade down. Oh Rocky. Don't fail me, dog, or you'll have to pay me the rest of that $300 for your board. M shouted down to me. Onward to victory. You can do it, dude. On your mark, Steven and I placed our right feet on our boards. Get set, we leaned forward slightly. Go. I kicked off the ground and started down the lane. 2 trash cans were in front of me. I kickflipped over them and landed nicely on the other side. I glanced at Steven's lane and he was ahead of me, but not for long. I picked up speed and went past him. I maneuvered through the cones and kick-flipped over the last one. I turned the curved corner and went off the ramp into Steven's lane in front of him. The lanes were no longer separated, but emerged into one huge lane. He came up behind me at a fast speed and sent water underneath my wheels. The water splashed around us as I went through it. The loop-de-loop came up and I went through first. I reached the end, but Steven jumped from above and over me. He had gone up onto the top of the spiral and back down over my head, making him be in the lead. I picked up speed and tried passing him, but he got in my way. He grinded on a rail and kicked it off of it. I went on the small ramp, jumped over the gap, and landed on the opposite one, doing a grind on the top. I went down the side and landed back on the concrete. I grinded on a different rail and jumped down beside Steven. Not bad. Steven shouted over the noise of our wheels. Just so you know, I had been practicing your midnight tornado. And I must say it's not as good as yours. Is that supposed to distract me? I asked. Cause it's not working. I will win this race. Not if I win first. Steven fired a fireball at me. I was in the lead now and he was trying to knock me off my board. I jumped over the 5th one and grinded on another rail, kick-flipping off of it. Another ramp came up. I jumped off and grabbed the side of my board. I was almost to the finish line and Steven was coming up beside me. As if in slow motion, I was getting closer and closer to the ground. Steven was slightly ahead of me as I finally landed. Come on, Rocky. Courtney cried. All my friends were cheering me on. Steven and I were neck to neck. It seemed like time was slowing way down now. I realized the flaw in my plans. I needed more than one apprentice to accomplish anything. You can tell Slade that I'll never take them. I thought you might say that. You wouldn't be in so much pain if you had taken the pills like I asked. They're not your friends anymore. Slade, you're right. I don't need friends. That's my boy. Thank you, master. I don't need a mentor or master. Midnight tornado. I am using them for good. Getting back at the preps is not good. No? I mean Robin needs me back at the tower because, cause Slade's been spotted in Jump City. Gotta go. You okay, dude? Yeah. I'm Steven, by the way. Nice to meet you. Would you like to go camping with my family and me? Sure. I don't think you should go camping this weekend. I've been having weird vibes lately and I don't like them. I'll be fine. Don't worry, I promise. That's what you said the first time I warned you about something, you stupid baka. And you got yourself kidnapped because you wouldn't listen. Well, if you would have told me about my powers from before, none of that shit would have happened in the first place. No? Hello, apprentice. Killed. If you've killed me, then why am I still here? But Steven, he worked for me. What happened to my powers? Steven has them. Steven, you bastard. How could you do this to me? I'm your friend. No? Steven, you don't know what it was like. He kidnapped me, Steven. He turned me against my friends. Slade manipulated me, Steven. He shut him up for me, wouldn't you, Slade? Steven, please. Steven. My life was normal before you kidnapped me and told me of my powers. I had a family who didn't worry about me so much. When I returned home, my life changed drastically. My once calm mother didn't bawl her eyes out if I was late getting home from school. She didn't jump to conclusions about calling the police if I called her when I should have been home instead of at the park or a friend's house. My father used to not get mad or upset if I didn't tell him where I was going or when I was leaving. My once understandable sister wished I didn't exist. She never even talks to me anymore unless we're fighting over who gets the front seat of the car, or which one of us gets to use the bathroom first in the morning before school. They worry too much. They practically watch me like a hawk would his prey. My life was ruined the day you took me from my family. Now I feel empty without my powers inside of me. I feel useless. Everything changed. Things I didn't want changed. My world has turned upside down when it should be right side up. Kuchi's Snow Jutsu. The art of summoning. Barrage of dragons. You really disappoint me, Rocky. You've displeased your master. It's what I do best, right? Bang. You killed him. You must really like making me angry. Your friend Steven, yeah, he stole all our powers. In 1 week, a villains tournament will be taking place. It's a sport that you know all too well, apprentice. If you can beat Steven in the skateboard competition, I'll give you your powers back. But if you lose, you'll become my apprentice without complaining or trying to run away. It's your choice, Rocky, so I suggest you take it and enter. Next Friday is when you sign up, and the competition is all day Saturday, starting at 8 o'clock. If you don't enter, then you and your friends will never get their powers back. Until then. SW. So dude, are you going to enter? Yes. Oh my god, I don't believe it. RockyVRWolf, the only skateboarder here without powers, has crossed the finish line first. He is our new skateboarding champion. Yeah, Rocky. That's my dog right there. Alright, Rocky. I pushed back on the tail of my board, making it slide to a stop. Most of the people were cheering loudly for my victory. I pulled my helmet off. My friends jumped down from the stands and ran in my direction. They practically tackled me to the ground in their excitement. You did it, Rocky. You did it. Alan yelled. Now we can get our powers back. Shirley added. No. We all turned around and got into fighting stances, except for M. Steven was really pissed off. He formed midnight tornadoes around each of his clenched fists. I will not be made a fool of. I won fair and square. I shouted at him. Now give us our powers back. I'm keeping them. Steven yelled back. And I will kill you and all of your worthless friends. Your powers will be your destruction, RockyVRWolf. He was about to fire his midnight tornadoes at us, but they died down and disappeared completely. What just happened? Shirley asked. A loud sound of laughter could be heard from behind Steven. He turned his head. Slade had a large black sphere in his hand, and it was pulsating with power. There were large blinding beams of red light flying around in every direction and making contact with everyone in the area. The red beams of light returned to the sphere. Then a blinding flash of white light formed around Slade and flew away from him at everyone in front of him. We all flew back by the impact and landed on the ground. Debris flew everywhere and the stands blasted away and destroyed. I slowly opened my eyes and saw Slade still standing. He had his hands clenched into fists, holding them at waist level. Kind of like Dragon Ball Z stances, electricity flowed around his body. He continued to laugh, but it was a mere chuckle now. I slowly got up onto my feet and into a fighting stance. Everyone stood up from the ground. You attempt to fight me, boy? Slade asked. You have no hope in defeating me. I have, after all, everyone's powers inside of me. Now Slade has our powers. Beast Boy asked. Not just ours, but every other villain with powers that are here, Robin said. Dude, I thought we had a deal. You said that if Rocky won, then we'd get our powers back. And why would I give you your powers back? Because you never go back on your word, Robin said. It's not like you to break deals, Slade. Haha. Robin, do you remember when I helped you save Raven? Of course I do. I distinctly remember me saying that old habits die hard, no? I growled in anger. Give us our powers back. I don't think I will, Slade said. What's better than having every power imaginable at my disposal? I don't see why I didn't think of it sooner. Dude, I want my powers back. So hand him over, Beast Boy said. Slade blasted Beast Boy away with lightning. Beast Boy. I looked back at Slade and charged at him. He threw a gust of wind at me, knocking me to the ground. I somersaulted backwards and had one knee, foot, and hand on the ground. He threw Raven's black energy at me, but I jumped backwards into the air. I landed next to Steven, who was evidently very angry at Slade. That fucking bastard. I looked over at him. Can you fight hand-to-hand combat? He looked at me and smirked. Can you? We both returned our attention to Slade and got into similar fighting stances. You become friends, I see, Slade said. Do you honestly think that the two of you can defeat me? We're betting on it, I said. It's time to open a can of whoop-ass, Steven added. We both charged at him. I jumped into the air and sent a kick in his direction. He put up a barrier of Raven's black energy from his hand to block. Steven sent a punch with his left hand at Slade's face. Slade anticipated the attack beforehand and caught Steven's fist. I sent a punch at him with my right hand, but he grabbed it. He used Billy numerous multiplying powers and appeared behind us. His copies grabbed us from behind. Steven and I brought our legs over our heads and landed behind the copies. They were turned into Slade, and the original sent fire at both of us. We jumped out of the way and landed a few feet away from Slade. We turned around in sort of a huddle. Any more ideas? I'm all fresh out, I said. I hate to admit it, but Slade's right. We're no match for him with our powers inside of him. We're mere mortals to him now. I don't even think my barrage of dragons can knock him out. I wouldn't be able to reach him without him attacking me. Well, we have to think of something. Do you think a deal would work? I asked. Depends on what that deal is and what it's based on. Well then, Steven, my main man, I have a plan. I turned and faced Slade. He had his arms folded across his chest. I'm waiting. Or have you given up already? Far from it, dude, I said. I have a new deal. I paused. Go on. You and I will start our own tournament, I said. The rules, there are no rules. I win, you give everyone their powers back. My friends and the Titans were behind me now. And if I win? I looked at my friends for a brief moment. If you win, you get to keep everyone's powers and you keep me as your apprentice. I will never run away, disobey you. I will do everything you ask me, whether it be stealing from my friends' families' companies, stealing in general, killing someone, or killing myself. No? Rocky. You can't. Dude, you don't have to do that. All my friends were trying to make me change my mind, but I silenced them. I turned to them, ignoring Slade. It's the only thing he wants is an apprentice, I said. He doesn't care about money, doesn't care about status, all he wants is everyone's powers in me. It's the only way. But Rocky, what if you lose? I looked at all of them sadly. Even if I lose, I'll never forget you guys ever, I said. I will never be broken ever again or forget about how great of friends you are. You've stuck by me for so long and I'll never forget that. This is the only way. If I lose, I lose. There is no changing it. I turned back around. Do we have a deal? I suppose we do. But you have to stick with it this time if I win or lose. Or else all bets are off. You've got yourself a deal soon to be an apprentice. No matter what, I will never lose. I've had a win. I don't like Rocky. I just don't. I looked at Courtney and gave her a smile. I have a few new tricks up my sleeve, see, I said. Just believe in me and I'll win. I'm taking this very seriously. I want my powers back in my life. We went over to the others. We have a problem, Steven said. What kind of problem? I asked quickly. We don't have judges, Robin said. Not trustworthy ones anyways. How many do we need? 3. I looked around and spotted 2 Billy numerous. I beamed. I'll be right back. I made my way towards both Billies through the crowd that were heading towards the stands. Yo, Billy. They both looked up and saw me coming. Hey, RockyVRWolf. Billy 1 shouted. What could we do for you? I guess you were still separated when Slade took everyone's powers. I asked. Yeah, Billy 2 said. We were trying to form back, but not all of me returned. So we're still here, Billy 1 said. Well, since you're separated, do you think you could do me a favor? Sure, RockyVRWolf, Billy 1 said. Right, Billy 2. Right, Billy 1. What do you want us to do? Well, we need 3 judges and I was hoping you'd be 2 of them. But you have to be fair for both Slade and me. No favoring, got it. Alright, RockyVRWolf. We'll judge, Billy 1 said. Thanks guys, I said. I have to win fair and square. Slade will automatically win, and no one will have their powers. Got it. Yes sir, RockyVRWolf. I walked back to the others and told them. But we're still one short, dude, Beast Boy said. Any ideas? I asked. Because if we don't find someone, Slade will automatically win. Robin looked up from his thinking position. What about Chewie? He asked. She's honest about stuff like this. Problem Boy wonder, have you seen Chewie today? Robin's head fell. No? Didn't think about that. Obviously, Raven said. We need to find her, you guys, I said. If we don't, then you lose. I turned around quickly and got into a fighting stance. Rub it in, why don't you? Beast Boy said angrily. Slade chuckled. Since I'm allowing this to be a fair fight, I'll summon Chewie here. I stood up straight and folded my arms across my chest. Yeah right, I said. I'd like to see you try. You may have everyone's powers, but you don't know how to use them. Oh, I don't do it. Slade's single eye glowed white, and an old woman appeared behind him. She came up and hit him in the head with her walking stick. I tried to suppress my laughter. What is the matter with you, boy? Chewie asked. You interrupted my meditation. I started cracking up at that. Slade's eyes narrowed. He turned around and walked away. I'm thinking Chewie can beat Slade any day of the week, huh? I asked jokingly. I turned to her. Sorry about bringing you here, Chewie, but I need your help. Do you think you could be a judge for Slade in my skateboard competition? You're the only other trustworthy person that I could think of to help us. She observed me for a minute and walked around me. I followed her with my gaze. She stopped in front of me. He was warning the young man, Chewie said. Things will be more complicated as your journey to winning what you have lost gets harder. You are very strong, but also very foolish. Do not let your naivety get in the way. I will judge you fairly. Good luck, RockyVRWolf. She walked off towards the commentator's tower. I blinked in confusion. What was that all about? Shirley asked. I cocked my head slightly to the side. I don't know. But whatever she was saying, I'll listen for once, I said. I will be 100% serious about winning. Trust me guys, I'll win and get our powers back. I went to the contestants area and waited for Slade to show up. Okay everyone. Billy 1 said into the microphone. It's RockyVRWolf versus Slade in a final showdown for all our powers. Your judges are Billy 1, Billy 2, and Chewy. Billy 2 said. In favor of RockyVRWolf, Billy 1 and I will be completely fair to both skaters. Right Billy 1. You got that right Billy 2. I looked up and saw Chewy pull the microphone out of Billy's hand. Up first is Slade, she said. And if you ever summon me again without my permission, I will severely punish you boy. I smirked in Slade's direction. He picked up his board and climbed the half pipe. Honk. Slade went down the side. When he reached the other end and went into the air, he did a 360 and a front flip, touching down perfectly. He did 3 kick flips before making it to the other side, and did a backflip. He even came up with his own trick. He made it back by the horn. Yo Billy 2. What should we give Slade? Billy 1 asked. I kind of liked his trick that he did. What are your thoughts? I rolled my eyes as Billy 2 told what his thoughts were. Chewy pulled the microphone away from the Billies again. Slade earns a 96. I looked over at Amanda and motioned him over to me. What dog? You remember the name of my skate trick right? RockyVRWolf. You next. Smiled. Of course I do. I taught it to you. Let them know so that they can tell everyone what it's called, I said. I'd do anything for you cause you're my boy. Okay? We bopped fists. Thanks Em. I put my helmet on my head and got onto the half pipe, walking by Slade. I clipped my helmet on and put my board on the half pipe. Honk. I went down the side and did a kick flip. I grabbed the edge with my left hand while my right hand held my board. But before landing, I pulled the board from my feet and held it out to the side. I put the board back underneath my feet and landed. I backflipped after I rose into the air again and landed backwards. I did this 3 times. Using my chakra, I jumped off my board. It kept moving forward. I did 3 front rolls in midair and landed perfectly back on my board. I landed on the top of the half pipe and stopped. I did a handstand on my board and held myself up. The nose was on the wood. I jumped up and landed back on my board. I moved forward and went down the side. You can use your powers anytime Slade. I shouted to him. Honk. I flipped my board up by pushing on the tail and grabbed it in my hand. I looked up at the judge's tower. RockyVRWolf earns a 96 as well. Chewy said. Billy 1 took the microphone back and spoke into it. According to RockyVRWolf's homedog Amandam, that little trick he pulled was called an aerial flip. What did you think of it Billy 2? Billy 2 took the microphone. Billy 1, I didn't like it as much as I hoped, but it worked for me. I just hope RockyVRWolf has a new different trick that can whoop Slade's butt. Good luck with that RockyVRWolf. I jumped off the half pipe, skateboard in hand, and headed towards the others. Very nice man, Cyborg said. I really like the flip of the aerials trick that you performed, friend, Starfire said. You might actually win this thing if you keep it up, Steven said. Oh I plan on winning dude, I said. I have one more trick up my sleeve. But I won't use it until the final round. Is it going to be a race like before? Shirley asked. Nope. The half pipe again, I said. But Slade and I will both be on it at the same time. Huh? You remember the movie Grind right? I asked. My friends nodded. Remember at the end when the main character and the bully guy faced each other on the half pipe? Another nod. Well that's what's going to happen this time. That way Slade can use everyone's powers. Why would you want him to use our powers? Beast Boy asked. So that he knows that nothing can bring me down, I said. I know what I'm doing. I believe in you. I looked at Courtney and smiled. I know you do. Alright everyone. Billy 1 said. Time for our skaters to do the obstacle course. First up is the evil villain who stole everyone's powers, Slade. You're up big fella. And hurry up so RockyVRWolf can. Slade, who threw black energy at him, cut off Billy 1. He dropped the mic, and Chewy picked it up. You may begin Slade, she said. Honk. Slade went from the starting point and made several cool moves. He favored my water powers the most. He did several cool flips. He did a grind on the stair railing, but halfway through, he jumped up, did a front flip turn, and grinded the rest of the way backwards. He landed on the ground and turned to face the front again. He finished, earning himself a 97. Think you can get a 97 or better? Steven asked. I smirked. What? Are you kidding me? Of course I can. I know what I'm doing. RockyVRWolf. I hit the tail of my board and caught it in the air. I walked past Slade on my way to the starting point. You can use the powers if you want, I said. They won't do you much good. I'm saving them for the half-pipe my soon-to-be apprentice, Slade said. It's the closest I can get to you. I got up on the starting line. Honk. A 98. Billy 2 shouted into the mic. RockyVRWolf makes a 98. How cool was that Billy? Best tricks I have ever seen, Billy 2. Billy 1 said. But it ain't over yet, ladies and gents. Only one more round. And instead of the race, the final round is the half pipe 2. How does this work, Chewy? Chewy took the mic. Both skaters will take on the half pipe at the same time. RockyVRWolf has allowed Slade to use the powers he has taken. Good luck to both of you. She handed the microphone to Billy 1. Well, I say good luck to RockyVRWolf, Billy 1 said. I prefer Slade having all the bad luck. Billy 1 was knocked over as Slade hit him with Jinx's bad luck powers. Not having a lot of good luck, are you, Billy? I asked him. He didn't come up, but he flashed a thumbs up signaling that he was okay. I laughed. Hang in there, Billy. I used my chakra to jump up and front flip onto the half pipe. Slade went to the opposite end and pulled himself up with one hand. I placed my board down and put my foot in the middle. I snapped my helmet on. Go Rocky, Shirley shouted. Don't let us down, man, Alan hollered. We're with you all the way, my friend. Honk. I went down milliseconds before Slade did, but we passed each other in the middle. Fire came towards me from the front at knee height, but I jumped off my board into a front flip and landed back on my board. Whoa, Billy 2. Did you see that? I sure did, Billy 1. I got to the top and stopped when the front wheels caught onto the half pipe lip. I went back down and kick flipped over the water on the pipe. I landed on the other side and did a grind. Slade was a few centimeters in front of me. I transferred chakra into my wheels. I finished my grind and went after Slade. Before he got halfway, I used a lot of force, jumped into the air pretty high, and did a halfway front flip over Slade's head. I landed in front, facing him. His eyes widened slightly. I smirked and shrugged before turning around to the front again. Man, that's my goddamn boy right there, M yelled. Slade stayed behind me, which was pretty stupid. After I got to the top of the other side, I backflipped over him and landed backwards. I folded my arms across my chest and watched Slade for a few seconds. I got to the other side and made a grind without looking, still watching Slade. He was doing a few cool moves using water and electricity. I smirked. Now it's my turn to do a cool move. As I was passing him, I said, do me a favor and stay on the other side. I want you to witness another one of my tricks that will school you. Slade turned around, going backwards, to look at me. As you wish. He got to the other side and stopped, but stayed on his board. I got to the opposite end and did a handstand on the lip of the half pipe. I turned sideways and went down the side. I did a grind on Slade's side and went to the very end. I went down. I headed towards the other side. I landed on top of the half pipe and stopped in the middle. Dude, what are you doing? I made sure that my board wouldn't move by putting chakra onto the wheels and some into my feet and hands. I got onto my head, my hands on the board, to keep me up. I did a 360-degree turn on my head, flipped myself back up, turned my board around, and did an awesome breakdance on my board with a few moves that M taught me. I backflipped twice and landed perfectly on my board. I jumped and turned so I was facing forward. I went down, kick-flipped in the middle of the half pipe and landed next to Slade as the horn sounded. Oh my goodness, Billy. Did you see that? Heck yeah, Billy 2. RockyVRWolf did a breakdance on his skateboard. If that's not brilliant, then I don't know what is. I think we have our winner. Chewy took the mic. To be fair, I'll allow Slade to do his own cool move as a finale, she said. Do you agree with RockyVRWolf? I looked over at my friends and saw their please don't do it looks. I looked back at Chewy. I nodded. What? What is he thinking? What are you doing, Rocky? RockyVRWolf has decided to allow Slade one final move, Billy 1 said. I hit the tail of my board and caught it in my hand. But on one condition, I shouted. I turned and faced Slade. No powers. If you decide that using our powers is the only way and you don't want to risk messing up, you can decide to not do your trick. If you decide that you don't want to do it, I won't make it a disqualifier. You decide, Slade. And do it quickly so I can go home. We stared at each other for what felt like a century. The crowd, Billy 1 and 2, and Chewy were all quiet awaiting Slade's answer. He looked at the ground with his eyes closed, and I could tell he had a smirk on his face. He looked back at me. I wouldn't risk losing to you without being able to use my powers, he said. So I'll keep with the score I have now. I smirked. Smart move, Slade. I doubt anyone can beat my trick. Not even Tony Hawk. I turned back to the judge's tower. So Chewy, whose are the winners? She slowly took the microphone from Billy's hand. After seeing this miraculous sport with style from both skaters, we have come up with a decision based on an out of 100 score. Chewy looked at Slade. Slade, your cunning use of powers was astounding. But Rocky, you countered each power with skills. So we give Slade a 98. A few villains cheered for him. I walked towards the edge of the half pipe. But due to RockyVRWolf's talented moves with his breakdance, I looked up at her and mentally prayed that I had gotten a 98 or 99. We give RockyVRWolf. Everyone seemed like they were holding their breaths. Time seemed to be moving very slowly. The more time that seemed to pass, the more worried I became. Chewy looked at everyone silently, but finally said, a 99. The crowd cheered so loud I couldn't hear my heart beating fast anymore. I had beaten Slade for the second time since I knew the bastard. Everyone ran from the stands, my friends in the lead. I jumped from the half pipe and almost got trampled by my friends again. M picked me up. You my boy dog. Awesome job Rocky. We knew you'd win. Ha! In your face Slade. Billy One shouted. Now give us our powers back so I can be me again. Everyone stopped cheering. I turned around and faced Slade. You hurt the hellbilly, I said, unsmiling. Give us our powers back. Slade stared at me for the longest time. He slowly went to this utility belt and pulled out the black sphere. He pushed a button with his thumb. The red energy left Slade and into the sphere. He released the button, and the powers went to their respective owners. A deal's a deal. He dropped the sphere on the ground and it broke. He turned around and clenched his hands into fists. With fast speed, he pulled out the same gun he used to kill the barman and aimed it at me. He fired. Bang. I watched the bullet coming at my chest with wide eyes. I saw my whole life flash before my eyes. I shut my eyes tight, waiting for the impact, but a scream of pain in front of me made me shoot my eyes open. Steven was standing in front of me. My eyes widened and my mouth was partly open. Steven. He fell forward and landed on the ground. Steven. I ran to his side and turned him over. Blood was soaking his shirt. I felt his pulse. It was still there, but it was faint. Steven, come on. Don't die on me. Steven. He coughed up some blood. Look, I'm sorry, okay? I am so sorry that I sold you out. Steven, stop talking, I said. You'll only die faster. I'm sorry. Tears were falling down his face. I turned to the others. We have to help him. Chewie pushed through the crowd and came up beside me. There's a way to save him. What? I asked, looking at her. If your friends combine their powers together, you'll be able to save him, she replied. But you don't have much time. She looked behind her. Slade got away from RockyVRWolf. You can save him. She patted my shoulder and walked away. She vanished as she walked. I looked down at Steven and back at the others. Come on, I said. I think I know what to do. Courtney, Shirley, Lee, Alan, Ariel, and I got in a circle around Steven. Courtney summoned her black magic, Shirley controlled the wind, Lee formed gas like ice, Alan summoned his spirit, Ariel summoned her invisible spirit, and I formed a midnight tornado. On the count of 3, I said. 1 Lee said. 2, 3. Our powers went towards Steven. They touched him, the tips of our attacks connecting together. Our attacks grew bigger and there was a blinding white light. Our powers came back and crashed into us, knocking us to the ground by the force of them. I sat up. Electricity sparked around Steven. I slowly stood up and walked towards him. Electricity jumped out at me, but I didn't even flinch. Steven's eyes slowly fluttered open and he sat up, holding his hand to his head. Electricity came out of Steven's wound, pulling the bullet along with it. His wound healed shut and he stood. He stared at his hands as electricity formed in them. How did I? Steven. He looked at me. I'm alive, he asked. I grinned. Sure looks like it. But how? My friends and I combined our powers to save you, I said. Somehow you got powers of your own. And it looks like electricity manipulation is what you can do. Steven manipulated more electricity. It flowed around him. He looked up at me. Thanks for saving me all of you, Steven said, turning to my friends. I'm sorry for what I did. Do you guys forgive me? My friends smiled. Of course we forgive you, Shirley said. Who's not to like? We're with you all the way, Alan said. Steven turned back to me. Thanks. I stuck my fist out and we bopped fists. No problem. So what should we do to celebrate our victory? Courtney asked. Courtney was very excited that a flame burst in front of her. We all looked at her in bewilderment. She looked at me. I didn't do it, I said. Did we get new powers or something like Steven did? Ariel asked. Not sure, I said. Try getting excited or something. Let me try. Alan transformed into his wolf self, but instead of having only claws, ears, and tail of a wolf, he turned into a full wolf. He stood on his back paws and changed back to his human form. Alan, you can turn into a full wolf now, Ariel shouted. By doing this, a chunk of earth rose into the air in front of Ariel. So you guys do have new powers, Beast Boy said. What can you do, Lee? Not sure. But I think I have a clue. She concentrated and water appeared in front of her. Knew it. I can control water. It should increase my ice powers greatly. What about you, Rocky? Robin asked. I don't know, I said. What else out there has more than one manipulation? Everyone thought about that for a moment. Well, you can control all the elements, Steven said. Maybe you can change people's personalities. Beast Boy snapped his fingers. I got it. You know how Raven needs to keep control of all of her emotions. We all nodded. Maybe you can control people's emotions. I gave Beast Boy a smile. Wow, Beast Boy has a point. I looked at Raven and willed happiness into her mind. She laughed, but covered her mouth. Ha. It worked. Raven gave me a death glare. I don't do happy. I laughed nervously. Sorry Ray. I noticed Shirley looked slightly sad. What's wrong? She looked up at me. I guess I couldn't get a new power like you guys. Well, what have you always wanted to do? I always wanted to fly. Starfire got all excited and jumped up in front of her. Friend Shirley. In order to fly, you must feel the joy of flight. Think of something joyful. Shirley looked at Beast Boy and smiled. What was your joyful thought, friend? That I was married to Beast Boy. Beast Boy fell over in a very animish way. Then the wind picked up around Shirley, and she disappeared in a tornado. The tornado vanished and Shirley was in the air. But what was really peculiar was the black wings on her back. She looked at them and laughed. I can fly. Sweet. She did a few backflips and spins. She circled around us and landed in front of me. But you're lucky. You get all the cool powers. First control of elements and now the control of emotions. Man, you suck. I smiled. I'd take bat wings any day. The sun was slowly going down over the horizon, making the sky and clouds have a beautiful orange look to it. It felt like a warm summer day on the beach. Let's go Titans, Robin said. Jump City needs its heroes back. I heard that, dude, Beast Boy said. We headed for the exit to the parking lot, and I saw Johnny Rancid trying to get away from the crowd. Yo Johnny. You got something for me? I hollered at him. He started running the opposite way. I'll take care of it, Ariel said. The wall of earth rose in front of Johnny, stopping him in his tracks. I walked up to him, my arms folded across my chest. Where's my 200? I asked. I ain't giving you jack shit, Wolf Boy, Johnny said. You just got lucky. Shirley whispered in my ear. Give him fear. I smirked and sent fear into Johnny's mind. He backed up into the wall of earth and shuddered. Okay. Here's your money. Johnny yelled, holding cash out in front of me. Just stop doing that. I made the fear vanish. Thank you, Johnny, I said, taking the money from him. I'll give you my address so you can mail my helmet to me. I'll allow your butt some comfort and let you get out of me kicking your ass. And I want a dragon printed helmet that can match my board. Fine. Can I go now? I gave him my address and he pocketed it. Catch you later, Johnny. He walked away into the crowd. Shirley flew up into the air and looked around. Some tall blonde chick is coming our way. We turned around and sure enough a tall female that was about Lee's height was coming towards us. She stopped and gave me a smile. Can I help you? I asked. I just want to say that your powers are so awesome. You're RockyVRWolf from Grants Pass High, right? Yeah. I go there too. My name's Megan, with an H. I laughed slightly. Hi. Do you have powers? Beast Boy asked. I'm a vampire, Megan said. So I don't have many friends because sometimes my cloaking powers from my teeth and eyes turn off, revealing sharp fangs and tinted red eyes. I'll show you. She closed her eyes and reopened them. Her eyes were tinted red, and she grew vampire fangs. She closed her eyes again and reopened them. Her fangs shrunk to normal size, and her eyes turned back to blue. Wow. Sweet, Shirley said. I've got bat wings now. That's pretty cool. Thanks, Megan said. So you want to be one of our friends? I asked. Megan smiled. I certainly do. I stuck my hand out. Friends it is. We shook hands. Do you need a lift home? Lee asked. That would be great actually, Megan said. I think I live close to you, Lee. You've rode on my bus before. Yeah, I've seen you on my bus before. Come on guys. I want to go home. We'll try finding Slade again later. We arrived at the T-van and everyone got in. Are you guys ever going to tell your parents that you have powers? Raven asked. I looked up at her after gazing out the window. Probably not. My mom would flip and my dad wouldn't believe me. Venus, she would think I was a freak. She already thinks that since I know you guys. Your sister annoys me, Beast Boy said. She annoys everyone, I said. She thinks she's a know-it-all too, Courtney added. Good thing none of us have siblings, Beast Boy said. Not all siblings are bad, I said. My oldest sister Abby in California is cool. And I have an awesome brother, Em said. He got me into the skateboarding business. I'm an only child, Megan said. But what's weird is that my parents aren't vampires. I think I might be adopted. Maybe, I said. Lee and Megan's stop is closest. So take the right Cyborg. You got it, man. He turned left on the next street and right on Lee's street. It's the second house on the right. Cyborg stopped at Lee's white gate. She and Megan got out of the T-van. Guess I'll see you guys at school, Lee said. And me, Megan added. Bye guys. Lee and Megan walked to the front door and walked in. Where to now? My house, Shirley said. But I think I'll fly home to test my wings out better. She opened the door and got out. See you on Monday. She took flight and flew above the clouds. It was getting darker, but the glow of the sun could be seen. I'm going to go run like a wolf home, Alan said. See you guys. Bye Ariel. Bye Alan. See you Monday. He turned into a wolf and ran north towards home. I'll go home by myself too. I can test my earth powers out this way. See you guys. She too got out of the vehicle and summoned Earth. She took off to the west. We'll take M and M home, I said. Courtney and I live really close by, so we'll go home last. Can I come over to your house? Steven asked. Sure. We drove to M&M's skate shop and he got out. See you later, dog. We drove towards my house and arrived 10 minutes later. We got out of the T-van and said goodbye to the Titans. Make sure you keep Jump City safe, guys, I said. I'll contact you if anything goes wrong. We closed our doors and headed for my front door. Goodbye, friends. Starfire shouted gleefully. See you, Star. I called back. They drove off and we walked into my house. We went into my room and I closed the door. I faced them. Okay, since you didn't trust Steven before, I want you guys to shake hands. Call a truce right now. Courtney eyed him warily for a second before stretching out her hand. He stared at it for a few seconds, but took it all the same. They shook on it. Welcome to the good side, Steven, Courtney said. Thanks. I truly am sorry, you know. Yeah, I know. I smiled. I'll ask my mom if you guys can stay over, I said. I'll be right back. I left my room and found my mom. Hi, sweetheart. Hi. Can Courtney and Steven stay the night? Sure, Rocky. Thanks, Ma. I returned to my room. She says it's fine. Let's go play video games. We went to the computer room and played Akami. I cheated by putting stupidity in Courtney and Steven's minds. Rocky. Sorry. I was happy to be home, with my friends, our powers, and Steven getting his own power of electricity. But before I would be truly happy, there were a few things I had to take care of on Monday, like apologizing to the people I used my powers on. That would be my toughest battle yet. Sure you want to do this? Of course I do, I said. I use my powers for good, not evil. I walked in Shannon's direction and stopped behind her. Hey Shannon. She turned around and looked at me in disgust. What do you want to lose? I smiled. I just wanted to apologize. Apologize for what? She asked. About the prank I pulled on you, I said. What prank? My smile fell. The one with the water fountain, I said. With the dirt and the mud. That was you? She shouted. I gulped. Yeah, and I wanted to say I was sorry, I answered. I am anyway. You bastard. Shannon yelled. You made me look like a fool. I put my hands up in defense and walked back a few steps. I'm sorry. It was stupid, I know. But I mean it. I backed up and hit someone behind me. Oops. Crash. I was head first into a large trash can. I heard someone walk up beside it. That's karma for you, Courtney said. She grabbed my foot and pulled me out. A banana peel was stuck to my head. I picked it off and threw it back in the trash can. Remind me to stay away from Shannon Pierce and her posse. Okay. I shook my head and went into the bathroom. I washed my hair in one of the sinks and fixed it up. I shook my head again to get rid of the excess water. I walked out and followed Courtney out towards the buses. Now I was happy that I sorted everything out with the people I picked on with my powers. The sun was shining very bright. So, you apologized, huh? Shirley asked. Yep. And I'll never use my powers for evil purposes again, I said. I'll only use them for good now unless I really need to use them. Good to hear, Lee said. Bill wants to go out for pizza. Megan asked happily. Let's go. Yep, everything was going great. What could be better than hanging out with your friends? The end. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic. Link is in the description. See you next time. Till then, sayonara.